have an addiction to teacups. I'm running out of space to store them now.
No, I feel it. I'm that way with mugs, so I get it. I have like a ton of coffee mugs.
And, I break them a lot, so it's good to have backups.
Yeah, especially with children.
If only I could blame it on them. No, it's definitely me. Welcome, listeners, to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
I'm your other host, Sarah.
And today on the show, we are very lucky to be joined by not one, but two guests. We have actor, comedian Lauren Schmuck. Hello, Lauren.
Hello. Thank you for
having
having
me. And writer-performer Cayla Priest. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you guys being on the show to talk about Barb and Star.
You have to say it like this, Nicole.
Del Mar.
Barb and Star.
Barb and
Vista
Star.
Del Mar.
Go to Vista Del Mar.
I contemplated talking like that the whole time. It seemed like perhaps that was the way to go, but I'll spare our listeners from
Just
that.
anytime we have an AR word, just go ahead and make that sound.
Like a Midwestern pirate.
I think my favorite word that was pronounced that way was liar.
Liar. There was a whole series of things. God, this movie has so many good jokes in it. We thought it would be fun honestly, you guys were first of all, Sarah and I watched this movie together.
A few months ago or a month ago or something like that.
The first time I hung out in your new place.
So I have a new place, and so she came over. I didn't have a couch yet, so we just like sat on.
We sat in camping chairs.
She sat in a camping chair. She did. She brought a camping chair. That's true.
Yep.
And we watched it, and we were like, we need to make this movie, like this best.
Well, yeah, we wanted to make it first of all. Yes, I was like,
we were like, why didn't we make this first?
Yeah, I was
then
mad
we were
about
like,
that.
We should do this on the show, and we should also invite two besties.
And we immediately thought of you guys because
We
I was
were
like,
here we are.
Of course.
Well, I was thinking like, because I've done I've been like on set for a couple of things that you ladies have been on and I feel I feel like this is a movie that the two of you could be in.
Yes,
like I
sure.
can see the two of you
Like,
being
you two
these best characters.
It's like the highest compliment I've ever gotten.
Like you guys basically, yeah.
Oh my god.
I couldn't think of anybody better to talk about this movie with than the two of you. So
Thank you.
In the
so
words
here
of
we
Star,
are.
I just assume everyone thinks I'm disgusting.
No,
Not at all.
Lauren, you're so
Not
both of
at
you are
all.
so gorgeous.
Yes, absolutely.
Seriously.
I'm only disgusting on the inside.
Oh my god, that was like my favorite line. That and when she says your dong, it was so hit my heart. She's like,
Yes.
your dong
it
touched my heart.
It traveled up. It reached
It
up.
reached my heart.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I just
Jeez.
love that she used the word touched and not hit or punched or like
Yeah.
punched me in the heart. Like that was a little violent. Like I'm glad she was touched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gentle.
Gentle.
It's a gentle falling in love that was going on. But before we get into Barb and Star, we do like to chat a little bit about stuff that we're watching. Sarah, well, actually, I don't know if you guys have something, Cayla and Lauren, that you've been watching that you want to talk about. If you do, that's great. If not, Sarah and I always have some dumb shit that we're watching to talk about.
I mean, mine is really boring. I've been rewatching all of Top Chef. I'm on season 12.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It's like a comfort show for me. I've been really feeling stuff lately, so I'm doing a rewatch. I've watched I'm on season 12. No one wants to hear about that anymore. That happened in like 2013.
I find watching other people cook very comforting because I'm terrible at cooking, and I totally get that. I think sometimes you just need something to take your mind off things.
Oh yeah, I love like
yeah.
the Great British Baking Show and other like baking
Chigs.
shows. Like it's
Chigs
just-
in his little glasses.
Oh, I know. I'm so glad at who won. Actually, I think
Yes.
that in his that episode was not his best, but overall, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I cried with the winner.
Aw.
It was like a very sweet touch. Yeah, I loved this season of
Yeah.
that.
I need to get more involved
Well,
with it.
are you guys going to watch Baking It? Have you heard about Baking It? We're watching it for our
No.
other podcast. So Sarah and I also do a show called the Adam and Andy podcast where we watch movies by Adam Driver and Andy Samberg.
You sure do.
Andy
Mhm.
Sandberg and Maya Rudolph are doing a baking competition show called Baking It that's on Peacock.
I didn't know it was those two.
It's out
Yes,
right now,
those
all
2.
6
It's out
episodes.
now.
That sounds
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely
amazing.
be watching that.
Yes,
Mhm.
so yeah.
I'm excited. It
And
looks so fucking wholesome, you
it's
guys.
have you seen the first episode yet, Nicole?
Not yet. I've seen some GIFs.
I watched the first episode.
Was it good?
It was so interesting. Like, I have thoughts, but I guess this is not the
No,
podcast
not the
to
place.
talk about
Although,
it.
Save them.
although the Adam and Andy podcast originated on this podcast as like
Yeah.
a joke when we
Yeah,
watched
we were
Palm
like, we should
Springs.
start a whole podcast about Andy
Palm
Sandberg
Springs.
and Adam Driver, and we were
Because-
like, what if we actually did that?
And we did. Because during quarantine, my like therapy was to just watch all of Adam Driver's films for some reason.
Yes.
And I have no regrets about that. And now I do now we do a show every other week about it. Cool. Well, that sounds awesome. Lauren, do you have anything that you've been watching? If not, that's
Yes.
cool.
Yes, I do. So there's a show on Showtime currently called Yellow Jackets. Have you heard of this show?
I've heard about this. Oh my
It
God, I've heard
is-
about this.
It's really, really good. It has Christina Ricci in it, and it has oh gosh, I'm blanking on her name, but I'm pretty sure an Australian actress. She was in
Melanie Linsky.
yes, Melanie Linsky. Just a wonderful, wonderful actress. And it's like them between the early 90s, high school. They have this very tragic event that happens, this plane crash. And then it's cuts to like it's interspersed with older versions of them and kind of still dealing with this thing that happened years and years ago. And it's so
Yeah.
well done. And it's really nice to watch something that's like 90s nostalgia. Cause I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm really that's like
Oh,
my
do you
era
feel
that
old?
like I grew up, and it's just kind of like, wow, this is now being like a period piece of the 90s.
know,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way about Pen 15.
Ugh,
Because that's
Yeah.
like
I love
a
Pen 15.
2000,
So
like a
good.
99, 2000, 2001 type.
I think that season
I'm
just
so
came
excited
on-
to watch that.
Yeah, I'm excited to
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah, I heard about that, and is it scary? Like, what's the tone? I'm trying to figure out, like, is it scary? Is it sad? Like, is it a suspense
It's-
thing or?
It's suspense, I would say. So
Mhm.
it just kind of goes
Mhm.
between them trying to survive after having been in
Mhm.
this really bad plane crash. And
Mhm.
then like we don't know all of the things that happened out there. And now it's like years and
Oh.
years
It's
later,
like a mystery.
we're figuring out what
Oh.
exactly went on during that time.
Ooh.
And yeah,
I'm highly
Interesting.
intrigued.
it's really good. And Christina Ricci plays like kind of like a bad, like the villain. But I don't know
Ooh,
yet.
She's good at that, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like,
Yeah.
Christina
Ooh.
Ricci always has my
Nice.
heart. She's so good.
I love her. I love her so much. Wow, that's great. Okay, well, I've written it down to remind myself to watch it. Like, if I can pull myself away from my yearly rewatch of all the Star Wars films, because that's what I do every winter.
Yes.
But that is definitely on my list. Sarah, what have you been watching?
Well, another Showtime show, actually, Dexter: New Blood,
Mhm.
because
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved the original Dexter series, and so when I heard that it was coming back, I was like, yes, I need to see this. So my boyfriend and I have been watching Dexter: New Blood every Sunday. So I guess we're gonna watch the next episode tonight.
Ooh.
And it's really good so far. It's like in keeping with the old show. Like, I don't know if the same people are involved or what, but they somehow
So
managed to
it's-
make it just as compelling and just as
Oh.
like, what's gonna happen next? And the stakes are so high, and like that was one of the things that Dexter had going for it, were these super intense stakes and this super intense suspense. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the hell is going on in this season, because
right.
there's a lot of balls in the air.
Nice.
My question is it righting the wrongs of the finale?
I've heard that people are upset
Well,
about that.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like taking the old show and moving it into a new location.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it's like the same show, only it's in his new location. And I'm not telling Nicole where that is in case she goes back and sees
I feel like that is a show I'd be
old
interested.
show.
There's so many old shows that I've
Mhm.
never seen Twin Peaks, you guys. Like I've like
Yeah,
Well,
that.
you
that's
should see
good.
Twin Peaks. I
I
mean,
feel
that's
like
a
that's
Yeah.
weird
something I
one.
would really enjoy.
Yeah.
I think you would too.
And yet I just it's and yet I'm like, should I watch something new or should I watch all of the Star Wars movies again?
Well, that's the problem with old stuff. It's like you feel like, well, it's too old. It's like out of date, but like
No, it's not just that. It's
it.
like I need the serotonin of the thing that I already love. You
Yes.
know?
Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there are some new things I'm watching. I am watching am I watching it? Questionable. I watched the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. My
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, my sister, so here's the thing. My sister and my brother-in-law come over every Friday or Saturday, it depends on our schedules, and we always watch a show together. So we watched Loki, we watched WandaVision, we watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, we watched The Witcher. And so Hawkeye, we were like, oh well, we got to watch Hawkeye together because we've been watching all the Disney Plus shows. Not that The Witcher's a Disney Plus show, but and I gotta say, it was very meh for me. I'm not sure if I'm gonna
Mhm.
continue.
Yeah, he's like a mediocre character for me.
I think they could have the trailer had me excited because I was like, "Oh, it's like Die Hard but with Marvel characters." Like that's what the
Mhm.
trailer felt like. And so I was like, "Oh, so it's going to be action but kind of comedy." And like I was like, "Yeah, I can do that. That seems different than what we've been getting." Um, but it's not that. And it's also, to be honest, I think kind of the writing is a lot lazier than the other shows.
Well, Loki and
Um
WandaVision are like very like it's gonna be hard to live up to those.
But it's just like they had this new character and the way they introduced her was not very interesting. Like they were just like, here's a new character. And I was like, well, I don't why do I care? Like I like this actor, certainly. I like Haley Steinfeld, but like,
Mhm.
why do I care about this person? They're just like they've been very good at weaving in new characters, and this was so far very sloppy. And there's been a couple of episodes that were like actiony comedy. Like there's an episode where like Hawkeye has to go to LARPing to get like his suit back, and like that was very funny. And I was like,
Mhm.
more of this. Like we need to make Hawkeye a little less serious. He's a little too serious for my taste. Bring him down a peg. That seems like and I thought they were going to, but I don't know. I'll keep watching just for to be a completionist. But it's not great so
So
far.
Nicole, at the party I went to last night, I met the woman who is the archery coach on that show.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
really?
Yeah.
That's
She coached
cool.
the kids who did the arrow stuff.
Oh, well, that's very cool. I'm glad
Yeah.
that I wasn't there talking about how mediocre I found Hawkeye to be. Because I know everybody worked really hard on it. There's actually a ton of Atlanta actors on the
Mhm.
show.
Mhm.
But it's so far not great. Or at least the first 2 episodes were. In fact, everybody vetoed it. On Friday, I was like, should we watch another episode? And they were like, fuck no.
Oh, wow.
My brother, my sister-in-law were and even Chris was like, eh. So we didn't continue watching it this week. So I guess I'll be watching it on my own.
I only saw this scene where there's a Broadway show about the
That was funny.
Avengers.
That
That
was
was
funny. That was
hilarious.
good.
And the person next to me was like Broadway shows have better costumes and choreography than this.
That's true. That's the thing is, here's what I'm going to say about Hawkeye, guys. And again, I know it was made in Atlanta, and I love my hometown, and they've made incredible productions. WandaVision and Loki and Falcon Winter Soldier all shot here. They look incredible, like major blockbuster movies. Hawkeye feels to me like the low budget version of a Marvel show. Like they tried to cut corners, or they did it too fast, or it's just like you said, Sarah. These Broadway costumes, why weren't they more extravagant? Like I just it doesn't feel like they put as much into this show
Mhm.
as they did the other ones. That's all. It's like Hawkeye got like he got like the lower tier treatment or something. I'm not really sure. That's what it felt like to me. Anyway. So I guess it's not a recommendation. It's
That is an anti-recommendation.
I guess if you don't have anything else to do and you've already watched Yellow Jackets and
recommendation.
all seasons of Top Chef and Dexter, like maybe watch Hawkeye. After
But
you
watch
watch all
Great British Baking Show before you watch
that,
Hawkeye.
yes. Definitely.
Okay. Are you guys ready to dig into Barb and Star?
Yes.
Yes.
So
I'm
excited.
so ready.
I've Yes. Okay, so usually we talk about, actually I think we'll still, even though Sarah and I did this a little bit already, we usually, before we talk about the movie, we like to talk a little bit about, like, did you know anything about the movie going before this podcast? Like, had you seen it before? Like, we'll kind of go around and see anybody's impressions before they watched it or before this podcast. Just because of the arrangement of my screens, I'm going to start with Cayla. Any going into this, did you have any sort of preconceived notions about it?
I did not. I had not watched it, and I can't believe I hadn't because I remember wanting to when it came out, and for whatever reason, right, just didn't happen. And I was so glad that I didn't know anything about the story or anything. Like, I was so glad that everything was a surprise because it was just so delightful. And I know we'll get into it, so I won't go any further. But I was just like, I thank God I hadn't like read a synopsis already because it was the surprise and like the, all the fun stuff was just like so much better that way.
Oh, same. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Lauren, anything, had you seen it before? Did you have any ideas about it?
I had not seen any real preview. I saw like maybe one with the yo-yo on his bicycle singing the I believe it's a Barbara Streisand song on his bike, and I was like, what is this? And then that was really the only teaser trailer that I saw for it, and then it was on, I think, like Amazon Prime or something during the pandemic, and I was just like, well, this is happening, I'm gonna watch this. And it was, yeah, so delightful from beginning to end. Love them so much.
Yes, God, I love them. Sarah, we kind of talked about watching it, but what
I had heard about it way before we watched it, and it was actually something that Sam told me about. And he was like, should we watch this? And I was like, yeah, sure, but we just didn't get around to it until you suggested it. So I was very glad. And I also hadn't read any synopsises, and so I was just really surprised, like especially with we'll get into it, but like there was a whole side plot or part of the main plot, I guess, but that was just like way out there.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, I so before the night which we talked about, where Sarah and I watched the film, I actually didn't know anything about it at all. The trailer, I think, was really good because it didn't give you anything. At least the trailer I saw. You didn't even see their faces. Kristen Wiig and Annie. I don't know how to pronounce her. Anybody? Sarah, did you write down Annie's last name?
Is it an M1?
Like
yeah,
Momolo.
yeah, something like that. And
I've never heard it said out loud.
Yeah. In the first trailer that I saw for this movie, it was literally just their heads, like just the hair. You didn't even see their faces. So it was very mysterious. I was like, I have no idea what this is about. But I knew, and I'm sorry, Sarah, did you got her name up?
Momolo.
We're trying. We're trying our best, guys. If you're
know.
coming to this podcast for journalistic integrity, Annie M, who I would like to see in more movies. She was so good.
Amazing.
Yes, I loved
and
her.
They're real life best friends.
I know.
And that just made it so much sweeter knowing that like they wrote Bridesmaids together and like they're best friends and like getting to have her moment on screen. I was like, yes.
I want more of her.
Great.
So funny.
Yeah, she was. They both were
great.
Yeah, and they had such good chemistry.
I think for me, all I needed to watch this movie was knowing that it was Kristen Wiig. Like Kristen Wiig just can do no wrong in my eyes.
I didn't know much about the rest of the cast even.
No, I didn't either. The main guy I knew kind of from
50 Shades of Grey.
And then I believe he's in this British show where he plays like a serial killer. And yeah, and I forget what it's
compared
called.
To those two characters. This character was compared to those two characters.
Yeah,
this character was so great.
It was so nice to see him because, like, the Grey character, he's just kind of just like, I don't know.
Is he sadistic?
He's like just there to be sexy and rich, like that.
Interesting. I want to get into this guy. Let's so now that we've sort of discussed what our experience with the movie before the show, let's just get right into talking about this movie.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, huh?
You look stupid and rich. Stupid and rich.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, 2021. We've already kind of started getting into it, so I don't want to derail anybody. So it felt like we were starting to talk about Edgar. Do we want to start there, or would we like to start somewhere else?
Yeah, why shouldn't we start with the man? You know?
Why not? That's what this movie's about, is men.
Well, I was just talking about the actor playing him. It was very nice to see him in this role that was so different from anything that I had seen him in previously. And like, he's funny and he's dancing, and like the scene where he's playing with the
that was
saxophone.
his real voice.
It was?
What?
Yeah.
I wondered if that was his real voice.
I thought it was a different actor.
We looked it up, Nicole. The first time we saw it, we looked it up. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you're right.
His voice. Yeah.
I know that Kristen and Annie wrote all the booby songs, like all the songs that the guy were singing at the. God,
the piano player.
The guy who's like, I see boobies. Yeah.
I love boobies.
He wrote all those.
It's
while we're talking about him, Jamie
Dornan.
I feel like can't remember that guy's name. James. He is, it's funny. I don't want to go contrary to what everybody else is saying. I did enjoy him, but I do feel like, is he funny or is he pretty? I feel like he's not as funny as everyone else in this movie.
60% pretty, 40% funny.
That's kind of, and I'm not mad about it. They do this in men's movies all the time, where they have a bunch of funny men and a pretty woman who's a solid actor but not very funny. They do this all the time. I'm not mad about it, but I was just kind of, as I'm watching the movie, I was thinking about how there are people like John Hamm who are pretty.
I was thinking about John Hamm
also
too.
Very funny, and then I was thinking about Damon Wayans Jr. and I was like, he's very funny and also pretty. And I was like, what if he was in this role? Because like, what's his name again? Jamie
Dornan.
Jamie Dornan is very pretty and did a decent job, but it's a bit like when you're in high school and one of the football players tries out.
I had that person in high school. Yep.
Gets cast as Romeo.
And you're like, he's doing an okay job, I guess. But anyway, so I just wanted to throw that out there, that this was something I was thinking about during the movie, was like, he's pretty, but what if somebody pretty and funny was in this role? I don't know.
That's a good point. For me, it was just nice to see like someone who is known for taking on these like really just like intense roles, and for him to be in this silly movie and be this very silly character, I was like, good for you. Because I don't know, I've heard like a little bit of tea about 50 Shades of Grey and that he like didn't like doing those movies. I can neither confirm nor deny that this is true. I might have like watched it on TV.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So it's just like maybe I just love the idea of him being like, I'm not gonna be this like sexy, pretty guy anymore. I'm gonna be
I'm gonna climb a coconut tree.
Yeah, I'm gonna be climbing up a tree
John
and
Hamm
singing
too.
and whatever. So I think maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just like, I'm more than just a pretty boy. Maybe that's what he's thinking and feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that
That's
way
fair.
too. And I did think of John Hamm because I remember the first time I saw John Hamm in a comedic role, and I was like, holy shit, like he's not just a great
he's so funny.
Dramatic
Some
actor,
people
but
really
he's
have it all.
hilarious. I know. Yeah.
Some people really do have it all. Yeah.
He did fine. He did fine. He did a fine job, and I'm sure he had a fun time working on the movie. You can tell they all had fun, and I think that's
definitely
important.
tell they all had fun.
Just every time him saying being official, there's all these couples here that are official.
He was very
just like
sympathetic.
It was such like a middle school like kind of. I just loved it.
He was like a little puppy dog.
The part I loved the most was the sincerity and the earnestness and the sweetness. Just the idea, because usually like they have like in movies like this, the men are kind of the crass, kind of
Yeah.
feeling jerks, and the women are
Mhm.
the I want to be official, you know. And so
Mhm.
they like
Mhm.
kind of flipped it and made
Yeah.
like the man be like, I want to be official, I want
Mhm.
to be a boyfriend, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Thought that was
I
very
loved it.
cute.
Yeah, so before as we get into talking about the movie, I one thing that I was also thinking about that I feel like kind of came up with everybody talking about their experience with the movie prior was that I feel like this movie is like it has the same tone and the same quality as something like an Austin Powers or even like one of those John C. Reilly like Will Ferrell movies.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
like I didn't fucking hear about this movie at all. Like the first time I heard about it was because Fortune Feimster like tweeted about it when it came out on Hulu. And
Mhm.
I know the pandemic like really fucked things up for releases, but I was like, why am I not hearing about this movie? Like it's so good. It's so funny. It was a feel good movie when I think a lot of people would have liked to have some escapism.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I just want to know what you guys think about that. Obviously, there's some like it's got two women in it. I don't know. Is that the issue? It's
Yeah,
like
and one of them's like not famous.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
why didn't everyone hear about this movie? Like I know that there's been like a sort of a dearth like studios haven't been pushing these types of comedies recently and
Mhm.
so I don't know if that's part of it, but it's just like it feels like it was a big misstep for them to not be shoving this movie in everyone's faces because it's so good, you
And that's the
know?
thing, I do remember hearing about it.
Yeah.
So, but I guess there wasn't like enough marketing for me to be like, no, I'm gonna put all these other things that I'm watching on
Mhm.
hold and I'm gonna watch this first. Cause it was
Mhm.
always one of those things, I'll watch it later, I'll watch it later. And then of course, I watched it when y'all asked us to watch it
Mhm.
so we can
Mhm.
be on this episode. And I'm
Well,
so glad I did. But yeah, you're right. There wasn't a marketing there. I heard about it. I knew it was a thing, but there wasn't that like hook to get me to say like, forget everything else. Forget your other 6 streaming services
Mhm.
and pick this one first.
I only hear about shows from my streaming services. Like I don't look things up online. I don't know
Mhm.
why, but like I only go by like what I see on my screen.
Mhm.
And so Barb and Star was actually at the top of my screen on the
Well, that's good.
main thing for like weeks.
Mhm.
And so it was like I couldn't not see it.
I feel like I
Mhm.
didn't see a
Um
lot of trailers. Like I think even Palm Springs, which was coming out around the same time, and
Yeah.
I love Palm Springs. Palm Springs got a lot more, I think a lot more marketing and they're both like shows that Hulu acquired or whatever. They got more marketing I think than this did and I just, I feel like it was a missed opportunity cuz this movie should be at the level of something like Ricky Bobby or Austin Powers. Like it's in the
mhm.
same type of
Yeah.
comedy and it's the same quality and it has the big cast with all these great cameos and like
Mhm.
I feel like it
Yeah.
could be at that level, but it just I don't know that it got the push. Like it didn't get the
No.
attention.
It
It
didn't
also
seem
didn't
like
get the
it.
push of like even bridesmaids. Like that
Yeah.
got more attention too.
Mhm.
You've got to hope that it was just pandemic shit, right?
Mhm.
I hope so.
Like, oh, we'll just put it out straight. Because I think for some reason I feel like it came out around the same time as Promising Young Woman. And I remember I
Mm.
like paid, to rent or whatever Promising Young Woman. And then I was just like, do I really want to pay for another movie? Like not like it
Yeah.
was expensive, but I was just like, I can watch all this other shit for free.
Mhm.
And I wonder if it just was like the death of
I
someone.
don't know.
We're so used to getting it for free, right? We pay for the
Mhm.
streaming service,
Mhm.
but then everything on there is free. Maybe it was
Yeah.
just like people are like, I'm not going to pay $12 or however much it was,
I
$20 when
I
I could
think
watch all this other stuff for free.
I think this was released on Hulu, just like Palm
It was
Springs, so
released
you
on
wouldn't have
Hulu.
had to
Oh, for
pay
some
extra.
reason I thought,
Yeah,
okay, you'll see. Okay, there's
yeah.
another
So you
strike
didn't
on the
know
marketing
you didn't know
because
how to
I thought
promote
it
it.
was like a pay to
Yeah.
rent.
No, it was
Oh
released on
man.
Hulu, just like Palm Springs.
Yeah, forget
Uh,
everything I just said, y'all.
but that's valid because they didn't make it clear to you how to watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forget exactly how I saw it, but I think I did see like Instagram or someone share it because whenever you said Fortune Feimster, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that might
Mhm.
be how I heard about it too. It was just kind of like this short clip that I saw, and I remember seeing it and just being like, "Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good." But there wasn't an official like
Mhm.
I don't know how many times for this movie Licorice Pizza that I've just seen trailer after
Right?
trailer, like even Wes Anderson's movie, The French Dispatch, just like
Mhm.
sponsored ads
Everywhere.
everywhere, and I did not see anything like that for this movie. And I don't know if that was like they just kind of wanted to just be like out of the blue, it's here. But I don't know. I feel like you want
I
to
just
promote
had
your
a
movie.
theory that I
Mhm.
had to look up.
Mhm.
Kristen Wiig is not on, she doesn't have any social media.
Mhm.
So like a big like the star of
Mhm.
this, like the name
Mhm.
attached to this,
Mhm.
no
And
social
the
media. And
director, this was his first feature as well.
She was also
yeah.
she was in
So
the
I think we rely on a lot of these like social things and that it just probably wasn't there.
yeah,
Mhm.
she had twins over this past year, right? Like she's just recently
Oh,
Yeah,
I
in
did not know that.
2020, I think.
in
Wow.
yeah, because I
Good
remember
for
she
her.
was hosting Saturday Night Live in
Mhm.
2020 from, whenever they were doing it from their homes. And I remember there was like some buzz about her having children. I believe she had twins
Mhm.
via surrogate, but she like
Okay.
became a mother over
She
2020.
announced it on SNL that she had
Wow.
twins.
Good for her.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
lot. 2
Maybe
babies.
that had
I mean,
something
they
to do
always
with it.
one of them's always going to need something. Yeah, and I think that there is like yeah, there is a lot of pressure I think there is put on the actors or stars to promote the film, but like, you know, I've House of Gucci has been up my butt for months. And
It's
I
so
know that
true.
I'm the target audience. I know that I'm the
Mhm.
target audience. My fucking kids are getting House of Gucci ads. I'm serious. My daughter can recite every one of Lady Gaga's lines from the trailer because
I
they are pushing that thing so hard. And I'm
Oh
not
wow.
saying that they needed to push Barb and Star like House of Gucci level, but like
it
who the
deserved more
market is.
than
It
it got.
deserved
Did.
more, and
Yeah.
they didn't deliver. And they can't rely on Fortune Feimster to do all the marketing for them. So
Yeah.
I love the
Bless her,
idea.
she's amazing, but
yeah,
I love the idea of your daughter, like you having an argument with your daughter and her just snapping into, I'm not a very ethical person, but I am fair.
she literally
But
does
I
this
am
at the dinner table.
fair.
tap,
Yeah.
tap, tap.
She's like, "What's Gucci?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's me." She's like, "Why am I getting these Gucci movie ads?" And I was like, "It's me. I'm sorry. It's because of me."
I do want to see that movie
Um,
though.
Funny.
That's gonna be
I
oh,
don't. I heard it's not good.
well, if you
that's
want to
exactly
know
why I
what
wanna
we
watch
thought
it.
about it, you can hear
You
us
can
talk
listen
about it
to on
for
the
2
podcast.
hours.
On your Adam Driver podcast.
Yeah,
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
we're
I'm in.
actually it's coming out next
We
week. So
critique it,
nice.
we
and
did,
we
yeah.
also lay praise on some of the actors and
Yeah.
Yes.
throw shade at some of them.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I'll listen to that and then I'll make my decision.
Yeah. And we had somebody on that was our one episode where we had a guest on that show. Our one and only guest on.
Fun.
We had Fabre
yeah,
on to talk about
that
it.
was good.
Okay, so we should get into this movie, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sarah,
we
do you have a
should.
particular place you want to start?
So let's start at the furniture store where they
Okay.
sit on this couch
Mhm.
and they like. I loved that part. Like just
I
like
just
that's
love
such
them
an
immediately.
genius idea of these two
Mhm.
friends who like work together and like
Yeah.
come in when each other works, even if they're not on the clock, and they like
I
sit
thought
on
you
this
were the one
couch.
working.
I know.
And like,
I like them right away.
mhm,
Their rapport is great. You can also kind of tell that they're living in their own universe and also
mhm,
pretty
Mhm.
kind of sheltered because their whole social life seems to revolve around this furniture store where they even
yes,
hold Thanksgivings there.
yeah,
I am fresh off a screenwriting class and I
Mhm.
was so glad that I did it while I watched this because I was like that scene of them talking on the couch and interacting with those customers told us absolutely everything we need to know about these people. They know
mhm,
everything about each other. They don't need anyone but each other.
Mhm.
Like we knew absolutely everything and I was like I can only hope that one day I write characters that are right off the
yeah,
bat like this interesting
Yeah.
and write it so deftly that like in a minute we
yeah.
know
Yes,
everything.
You
it
know
was
who
the
they
writing
are.
in this movie
Yeah.
is very tight. The jokes are great.
Mhm.
I love that. I want to ask you guys now. Obviously, all of us are actors. We've all done sketch. We've all done comedy.
We all
We know
write
that,
as well.
and we've all written. We all know that there is like sometimes a hook with a character where you're like the way they dress or the wig they wear or whatever. But I feel like why do you guys, why the hair? Why the accent? Like, do you think there's anything more to it other than it's just funny? Because I feel like there's something more to it for me than just the pure comedy value of it. And I'm just curious why you guys think like it's not a period piece,
Yeah.
but they dress a
Which I
certain
totally
way.
thought it was,
Yeah, me
when
Yeah.
we
too.
saw the newspapers getting delivered, the like
Mhm.
swerve at the beginning of like, this
Mhm.
is not a period piece. This is just like a small town, and these are
Mhm.
two people who exist in this small town. Yeah, I binged Selling Sunset, where
Mhm.
it's beautiful women
Mhm.
in these clothes that I will never be able to afford or fit
Mhm.
into,
Mhm.
in these sky high heels, and they're like out, just, sipping martinis. It's like we just don't see these we don't see these women very much, where they do not care what anyone else
Yes.
thinks. They are doing them. They don't
Yes.
care about the trend. They're gonna
Mhm.
wear their sweatshirt, and they're gonna
The
have the mom
culottes.
cut, the
Yeah.
culottes,
I love culottes
and
so much, you
they
guys.
love
Yeah.
each other, and that's all they
Yeah.
need. And we
Yeah.
just don't see that very much. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, I immediately was just like, I want to just sit and watch them talk on this couch
Yeah, and for
for the
me,
whole
like,
time.
it desexualized them. It didn't make them these objects. Like, it made them human beings with their own personalities, and it didn't make it about their sexuality. Like, it was about their friendship. And even though
Mhm.
they had sex in the film, and
Yeah.
she developed this relationship, it was like about what was going on inside of them,
Well,
and not
again, it
about
was
what
like,
they were.
even though it was a male director, it was not, the whole movie is a women's point of view, really.
Mhm.
So I see what you mean by there, where it's not about trying to make them the object of the audience desire, I think is what you mean,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah. It made it about the heart, that like their hearts, their characters, and not about
Mhm.
how they looked. And I think that if they had have made them like look super like conventionally, like with the long, like wavy hair
Mhm.
and like nice
So
clothes,
more
then
like
like it would have.
what's the actress's name that's from the Goldbergs? Because she was in here as
Oh
the
Wendy
yeah,
McClendon,
yeah,
Bubby.
she was in there as the like hot middle-aged, yoga
Yeah, and
pants
even
wearing.
she was like the very
yeah,
Midwestern version of a
Mhm.
hot
exactly,
person.
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just
And I
really.
loved then getting to see them in this fish out of water. We're gonna go to the big city of,
Mhm.
Vista Del Mar, and be
Mhm.
wowed by all of the, like, I think it really set up perfectly for them to be fishes out of water who immediately find their place wherever they are,
Yes, I
you
love
know?
Yeah,
that. I love that. I don't know if you had any
yeah.
thoughts on that, Lauren, about the
I
costumes and the
yeah.
hair and what that.
Yeah, I definitely, so their relationship, I just love that anything that was happening to them, it wasn't, they weren't unhappy characters. They weren't depressed or
Mhm.
anything. They had this core friendship. They had this life that they had built together, and everything that was happening around them, like we lose our jobs or something like that, that's devastating. But their love and care for each other like never wavered until we
Mhm.
go to Vista Del Mar and it kind of gets shaken up. But
Mhm.
I just love, I love the representation of these types of women. Like personally, I've done a lot of characters that are
I
similar
know.
to
I've
this.
seen you do that. Yeah, yeah.
And I think that they
Like, I'm
are
thinking about, didn't you
very
guys used to
rich.
do like a mukbang or something where it was two women
Mhm.
like, eating like eating foods on Snapchat or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's actually, an Instagram where you can go see our one mukbang.
It was very funny. I loved it.
Thank
But
you. But they are
they were
definitely Barb and Star
similar.
types.
Yeah.
Absolutely Barb and Star types.
It
Yeah.
just is like there's just so much focus on like you have to figure everything out whenever you're young, and you have to be
Mhm.
successful, and you have to
Mhm.
get married, and you have to do this, traditional thing that everyone does. And typically you see kind of the rebel version of a young person who's like super cool and has everything figured out. But there are these
Mhm.
types of stories happening to all these different types of people, even women who are in the Midwest and love shopping at Chico's and love Kirkland
Yeah.
brand. They
I
can
love that.
also be
Oh my
Like,
like
you could
god.
these
be a
punk
Chico's
rock.
model.
She
Yeah,
could be a
you could be a Chico's model.
Chico's model.
Like there's different
Yes.
types of being rebellious against these like typical uh typical I don't know, traditional
what
ways of
womanhood
going about
is, or even what
exactly.
womanhood in its 40s looks like. Yes.
Yeah,
And
stars of this movie, they're in their 40s. Like, we
that's
just don't see that.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm getting to, is that, to me, on the surface, the costumes and the hair are a great joke. And they're a
Mhm.
very specific character, which is comedy thrives on specific characters and specificity,
Yeah.
right? But when I look at it, and maybe I'm just projecting as a woman who's about to turn 42, I also see it on a deeper level as like, this is what the world thinks women in their 40s are, is these
Mhm.
women. And those women are typically side characters. They don't
Mhm.
typically
Yeah.
get their own narrative.
Mhm.
And instead, you have these two women who are the center of the film. They are sexually vibrant. They
Mhm.
are having adventures. And they're, like you said, Lauren, they are on a journey. Like, they aren't at the end of their life at their
No.
40s, which is why how many of us are led to believe that women's
Yeah.
lives end at 35 and there's nothing else to tell until they're grandmothers and they're a supporting character in someone else's story as a grandparent or whatever. Even those
Exactly.
women's lives are not over, so I don't want to imply that either. But, you know, here you have these women who are coming, which I think middle-aged people can relate to, the idea of like being like, well, I'm in a place where my life is very the same, and I'm comfortable, and then but I've lost my shimmer, and I need to shake things up, and I need to challenge myself. And that's what these women do in this movie. And I think it's a really great storyline for people in that part of their lives, and
Mhm.
something we don't get to see a lot because that story gets ignored
Mhm.
most of
Yeah.
the time by Hollywood.
Well, you see it a
So,
Yeah.
lot recently. I feel like there has been a push of like to try and normalize different ways of
mhm,
attaining your goals, like career
mhm,
shifts later in life, or, you know, starting completely over, or being single
mhm,
and not being in a relationship, because all of these things are seen as like, oh, you haven't found somebody, like isn't that
mhm.
something you want? Oh, you don't have children, you
It's
don't have
seen as a bad
grandchildren.
thing and not a
Yeah,
journey. Yeah.
Mhm.
exactly.
It's like, I feel like Hollywood has had this obsession with coming of age stories being about being in your teens or being in your 20s, and or falling in love being about people that are in their 20s or 30s or whatever. But falling in love or starting over happens in so many different stages of our lives,
Mhm.
over and over
Yeah.
and over again. And so I love that that's what this movie is about. And I love that we're seeing more stories like that. And I would want more of it, especially as a person in my 40s who doesn't feel like I'm settled at the end of my life. Like, I am constantly in flux with, you know, developing as a person. And I think I
Mhm.
feel like we all continue to do that
Mhm.
Mhm.
until until the end,
And it's
right?
not
Yeah.
weird. It's not a
So,
weird thing to be like, I think I want to change things up, or I want to break a pattern,
mhm,
or I want to explore
Yeah.
mhm,
something different. Sometimes you're seen as like you're going to go against what you've done for your whole entire life. Like, what is wrong with
mhm.
you? And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that it's not always a bad thing.
Make the most of your life.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, and especially like you were
Um,
saying with women who are seen as like the side characters, like they're what people are fighting against, is having this like
mhm,
normal life, and you know
mhm,
they don't get it, and it's just these women are the exact opposite. Like they may look like that or enjoy that style, even like they love the Chico's style. They love their like chunky jewelry and their culottes. Like they are
and everything
embracing these
made out of
things.
shells. I mean, that
Ugh.
killed
And
me.
their
Like,
fluffy, fluffy hair.
the fluffy hair. I was like, 'cause half the time I was like, is the wig wilting in the sun, or is this something they chose to do? Because there were times where the wig got puffier, and I was
It's
like, I
Yeah.
wonder
very
if they're just
true.
like at the end of the shoot and they're just trying to keep the wig from dying.
Yeah, yeah.
But
These women do not love these things. Ironically, they legit
no,
love these things.
they love hot
Mhm.
dog soup,
Hot dog
Oh.
soup.
unironically.
You
That's
made hot dog soup again?
I was like, you know what? I would eat hot dog soup. I would. Now the sound effect made it a little unappetizing, I will
Oh, the
say.
visual was
But
not great.
Which you just reminded me how much I loved Vanessa Bayer in
Oh
her
my
role.
God, the
Yes.
Talking
Oh
Club.
my gosh.
The
I-
Talking
Such-
Club.
I
I mean,
wanna-
all of them were amazing.
They were
Yes.
great. I want to see more of those actors, Fortune Feimster and Vanessa Bayer.
She played Phyllis in
Phyllis.
The Office. What was
Mhm.
all
what
of
is
them.
that actor's name?
I know her name
Her
is
name
Phyllis.
is Phyllis,
Phyllis
but I
something.
can't remember.
Is
I think
it-
it's like, I cannot remember, Smith, maybe even.
Yeah. I want to see more of those actors getting roles. Like they
Yeah.
are so funny. But
Mhm.
Yeah, we had fat women not talking about being fat.
I
Oh
know,
my
right?
gosh,
Ah!
Yeah.
And we had women in their 40s not talking about being afraid of getting old or, you know,
Yes.
all of that.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't talk about that at all.
Because that's not what women talk about. That is a societal pressure that's put outside onto us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
They just want to talk about their horses.
just the
Okay.
horses or their character socks or
I
whatever.
like
Yes.
wicker furniture. I like looking at wicker furniture, but I don't like sitting in it.
So true.
That's a
Amen.
valid. That's a valid point.
Finally, someone says
Someone
it.
said it.
So one of the things I really like about the Talking Club is, again, and you can tell this here's ways that I can tell this movie is written by a woman. They brought in the controlling, mean person that a lot of women are familiar with, that person in the friend group who's controlling and mean and will lock you out if you're 5 minutes past the time Talking Club starts. That it's the same thing with Jennifer's Body, which is a film we talked about last season, where it's like the archetype of the mean controlling friend who's actually kind of toxic is really familiar to female viewers. But the way they're often written by men is that those women are rivals because they are competition for men, you know? And instead, what it is that they're an antagonist because they make us feel shitty about ourselves because they're just they're unhappy people themselves.
They're harshing the vibe.
Exactly. And so I love to see those people being used in a way that is relatable to me because I'm like, yes, I hate the woman at Talking Club who wants to make everything about her and has to control everything. Let Phyllis talk about her horses, you know?
Yeah.
Also, Phyllis like neighing while she
Yeah.
toasted. I don't know.
And I just love the thought of like the horse girl, like grown up.
Grown up.
She
yes.
still loves horses.
Yes.
She loves
Yes.
it. She just wants to talk about horses. And they won't let
Vanessa's
her.
character taking away people's food and drinks when they break the rules, just like
We've all had
Pouring
that
the
bad
hot dog
friend.
soup.
Yes, we've all had that bad friend.
I have not
You're
had
cut
that
off.
friend.
I've had friends like that who are just like controlling and not I hope I've gotten to the age where I've kind of been like, I see it coming and I'm like, you know what, let's not. And we don't need to be friends. But certainly when I was younger, I've absolutely been friends with people like that. Okay. Shit. Where should we talk about next? God, there's so much.
The whole
music?
threesome.
Oh, God. The threesome.
The three. Oh my God, that scene
The
of
buried
them.
treasure.
Yes, the buried treasure, taking the drugs, like just say yes, say yes, say yes. Like there was never, I don't know, should we do it? It was just
was
like,
like, they
hell
just
yeah.
We're like, yeah,
Found it.
we ate the syrup, and yes,
like,
we
"That's
each took a
it."
pill.
Took a pill.
Yeah, I loved it. And then them just stacked on top of each other
Yes,
the next
waking
All
morning.
up.
looking at
It-
each other. Like, I
Yeah.
love the part where she's
the
like,
eyes.
I love the part where Kristen Wiig is like, I just feel really weird about this, and Annie's like, is it because I spanked your bottom? Again, it's just like, I love that these women have such a vibrant sexual life, and there's no
And they're not
question.
ashamed.
They're
They
not
date.
ashamed.
No.
I like that
They had a threesome.
Yeah, I like that they said that, oh, we had sex with each other many times. And it was never like, it was never a question of where does our friendship go? Like, what does this mean? It was just like,
Should we talk about
should we
this?
talk about it? No, it was just like, okay, yeah, that's what happened. Which makes me wonder, like, was this the first time that this has happened?
I
Yeah, I
know,
wonder
right? How
that
many
too.
times
Yeah.
has this happened? Did this happen at one of those Thanksgiving dinners at the furniture
Yeah.
store?
I guess
At
Jennifer's convertibles.
Yeah.
But also, like, they didn't feel shame there,
Mm-mm.
and the joke was never about, isn't it funny that these older women are having a threesome? That was never the joke. The joke was that they got fucking wasted on this stupid drink and had a threesome, and now what happens? Like now okay, well,
one of
now
them
Kristen
has
Cruise-
feelings for
yes,
the
and they're
guy
sneaking
and-
out, and the turtle,
Yeah.
and like
the
at
turtle.
no time
Oh my
was it
gosh.
questioned. There was no
I walked a turtle home.
There was a turtle in my bathtub.
there was no question on the part of any of the characters that these women were sexually desirable. There was never
Yeah.
any doubt about that.
Yeah, and Kristen Wiig, Star had her own internal, like she'd been
Mhm.
burned before, she'd been
Mhm.
cheated on. She thought she was disgusting,
Mhm.
but it didn't, which I just love that she called herself
She's like,
disgusting.
I'm
Yeah.
disgusting.
Just to the most specific word.
Yeah.
But she still went after what she wanted.
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
didn't we all have insecurities, and
Mhm.
she was just like, I feel a connection. I'm
Yeah.
going for it.
Yeah.
This hot young man, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
He probably thinks I'm disgusting, but I like banging in the meantime.
Yeah, you're right. That word disgusting is very specific, and it's very like I have felt disgusting so much of my life.
Yes.
And it's about
just
how
like,
someone else made her feel. It's not like
Yeah.
she doesn't say, I don't like my body, or she didn't say anything like it was like, I feel disgusting. And it's because someone else made her feel unwanted.
Yeah.
And that I think is a thing that we can all relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
but
her
it was
and Edgar
also
have so
very
much
funny.
in common.
All right. Are you guys ready for plugs? Do you want to plug
Yes.
something, or do you have things to plug? Excellent. Okay, so the guests get to go first. So, welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show where we talk about things that we're doing or that our guests are doing. Let's go. Lauren, do you have something that you would like to plug?
Yes, I do. So I believe both of you have done Lace Larrabee's stand-up class. I know Nicole
Yes.
has.
Mhm,
So I'm in the level
Yep.
2 currently. I'm working on a
Ooh,
10-minute set.
exciting.
I'm very excited about it.
Love it.
So we have a
Yes.
graduation show coming up. I believe it will be January 11th. I think it's a Tuesday.
Nice.
So it's always fun. It's just a good
Mhm.
show, and the women that I'm in the class with are so wonderful and interesting, and it's going to be a good show. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
Awesome. January 11th.
January 11th is still at the Punchline. They're doing
Still
it at the Punchline in Atlanta.
in Buckhead.
Great. Yes.
Sweet.
Always a amazing show. You can't go wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
Those
I love
graduate
watching
shows,
women doing stand-up.
so good.
Love it.
Love it.
All of my work right now is writing behind the scenes.
That's
so
good.
I
You're
would like,
developing. You're making things.
yes. So I would like to plug getting vaccinated.
I think that's a
Yes.
great thing to plug. Everybody should get
Yes.
vaccinated.
Yeah, do it for you, do it for your neighbors, do it for the humanity, do
Yeah.
it for
the
everybody.
Yes.
Get that
Do it
booster.
for the kids.
Get your kids boost. Get your kids vaccinated. My kids have got their 2 doses. The
Get
Kempers
boosted.
are vaxxed, and we're on the loose.
Nice.
And
Love
the
it.
adults are boosted.
Yeah, we're boosted. Yeah.
Also,
Love
I
it.
don't know when this will come out, but purchase all your Christmas presents by December 10th to make sure that they arrive in time.
Holy shit, I haven't done that at all.
I purchased everything, I think, the day after Thanksgiving with Black Friday, of course.
Smart.
I have done.
Holy shit.
nothing.
What if everybody purchases all their gifts in advance, and so then there's plenty of time for me to buy my last minute gifts?
Love that.
doubt
Bank on
it.
that.
Ugh, I guess I should get on that.
Yes.
All right. Sarah, do you have anything that you would like to plug?
Sure. My Instagram account, Hedgehodges Bodpos, HEDGEHODGES_BODPOS. It's about my journey of self-love with my body. I used to have an eating disorder, and then I gained a bunch of weight that was like just out of nowhere, and then I took several years off of just like, I'm not going to care what I eat. I'm just gonna eat whatever the fuck I want. And but then I kind of came back and was like, you know what, maybe I should start to be a little healthier. And now I'm kind of like in this good spot where I don't care how I look, but I also don't eat like a box of cookies for dinner. And it's like
You're taking care of
nice-
yourself,
yeah, so I'm taking care of my health, but
and you're
also like,
gorgeous.
oh, thank you.
But also living life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of like that. And also I do makeup, and I love clothes, so that's just kind of like my excuse to be like, look at my makeup that I did
Oh
today.
my God, your eye looks are
Always on
killer.
point.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
So check out that Instagram account for some positivity in your life. Well, I am going to plug Critical Crop Top's YouTube channel. So Critical Crop Top produces this podcast, among other things like the Adam and Andy podcast, which we talked about. And you can watch the vidcast of all of our podcasts, as well as
See Lauren and Cayla's beautiful
you can
faces.
see
Their
their
great
beautiful
skin.
faces, and their gorgeous skin. Go to YouTube. Just look for Critical Crop Top on YouTube. And you can also see old sketches from our live shows, and shorts and series, and the Critical Crop Top sketch comedy web show that we shot virtually during the pandemic.
Oh my god.
It was fun. It was fun. It was an experience. Editing stuff from Zoom is a challenge. That
I
is
bet.
a challenge.
boy.
But it was a good challenge. It was fun. So check that out. And of course, also listeners, we'd love to hear from you about what you thought of Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Feminine Mistake Pod, and you can find us on Twitter at Fem Mistake Pod, or is it Feminine Mistake Podcast on Instagram? Sarah, help me out here. I get confused because now we have two different podcasts. I know the Twitter is at Fem Mistake Pod. That one is easy to remember. It might be at Feminine Mistake.
It's Feminine Mistake Pod on Instagram.
Great. Feminine Mistake Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram and Facebook at Fem Mistake Pod on Twitter. Anyways, you get the picture.
Oh my
Thanks.
god, Lauren posted some really cool pictures. I'm liking them right
my
now.
God.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I'm gonna go
gotta-
check them out.
I want to plug booking portraits with Lola
Oh yes,
Scott.
please, please. All of us have
Do
done
that.
bestie
All of
shoots
us
with
have-
Lola Scott
yes.
at Lola Scott Art. Book
Yes.
a portrait session with Lola Scott in
Do
Atlanta.
it. You will not
She's
regret it.
amazing. If you've been so listeners, if you've seen our Instagram and some of the posts of Sarah and I from our latest photo shoot, those were done with Lola Scott. And, also
Lauren and Cayla also did a photo shoot, and their
Yes.
pictures are amazing.
Lola is just a gem of a person and an artist.
She's
She
so
will make you
good.
feel dope as hell.
Oh
no matter
my
who
God.
you are, if you're an accountant and you
Yes.
want pictures that make you
Yes.
look awesome, like just go and get her to
and
get
I
you.
never know what to do with my hands.
Ugh.
She tells
But
you what
she
to do with
always
your hands.
tells me what to
Your
do with
chin.
my hands.
My
She tells
chin
you where
is
to
always
look.
the
She tells you to
culprit.
fix your hair.
She's
She's
I
amazing.
guess I'm just always going
Yes.
like this, like with my chin. And she's like, nope.
Really?
Go forward with your chin. I'm
Yeah.
like, sorry.
Yeah.
She cares. She does.
She's
Yeah.
amazing. Ladies, it was so fabulous to have you on the show. Thank you
It
for
was so
joining
great
us
to
to
have
talk about
you.
this
Thank
movie.
you. I had so much
you.
fun.
I've had the
Thank you
best
so much for
time
having
with
us.
you guys. Oh my gosh.
Like,
and-
I want to do this all the time, and so I guess that means I have to
have to start
start
a
a podcast because you
should.
can't have us on every time.
You and Lauren
Well,
should start
you
that
guys
podcast.
should start a podcast. Oh my
God.
god, it would be.
You will have to teach us how.
I
We're-
will be happy to. I will be happy to. And I'd be
Lauren
happy.
and we are not self-starters.
I mean, honestly, it's not. Now that you can record everything virtually, it's not. It's like you can really have anybody on your show. Like you
Yeah.
literally have anyone.
Yeah.
Lauren and I have been trying to start a YouTube channel, and we were like, we're going to meet every Sunday. That was months ago. We still haven't. The
It's
first
tough.
Sunday we were supposed to meet, I can't remember which one of us was like, I'm not really feeling it today. And then the next week, the other one was like, I'm not really feeling it. And we were just like,
It's
well,
hard.
cool.
It's really hard.
We got our photo shoot for our promo, and then
You got
no
it.
content.
I don't have
You
any
got
content.
it.
But you know what?
It's
They're
tough.
there for whenever we are ready.
And you're
Yeah.
percolating, and then all the content will pour forth in the new year.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
guys can't do anything right now. It's December.
Right?
Right.
Give
It's
yourself
December off.
and like January, if it's,
percolate.
like, maybe February's short,
And
so
then
maybe like
January-
March. I don't know.
January, you're getting
Maybe in
you're getting back
2023.
in. Maybe.
It's
We'll
fine.
see.
We'll see.
I like the way 2023 sounds.
Listeners, thank you for listening to the show. And there's actually two parts to this discussion. So come back and join us for part 2, where we will have Lauren and Cayla talking more with us about Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
See ya.